Hello students, how are you? I hope that you don't have any problem in the previous lecture about central problem. If you have any problem, you can write in the comment section or on my personal window. I will resolve that. Today we will discuss about production possibility curve. It is also known as production possibility frontier. In the left side of the screen, there is a curve which is known as PPC. So it is a curve which show possibilities of production or various combination of a set of two goods which can be produced in an economy in given resources and technology. That curve is known as production possibility curve. First we will discuss assumptions of this curve, then I will tell you how it works. In assumptions of PPC, we assume that only two goods are produced. Because we can represent, we have two axes, x-axis and y-axis. We can represent one good on y-axis and one on x-axis. Second assumption, resources are given and fully utilized. Means your resources are limited. Given means limited. And they are fully utilized. If your resources are not fully utilized, in that situation this curve will not work. For example, you have a piece of land. This piece of land, and you are producing two goods, wheat and rice. And this part is not under utilization. You are producing wheat and rice both in this section. Try to understand, if you want to increase wheat, you can increase wheat without reducing rice because resources they remain unutilized. You can put unutilized resources under use. Similarly, if you want to increase rice, you can increase production of rice without decreasing production of wheat by using these underutilized resources, or you can increase production of both. That is the first situation. I am telling you why we have assumed resources are fully utilized. You can see the difference here. Now, see the second case. The same piece of land is fully utilized. Suppose we have divided the resources equally in the production of rice and wheat. Now see, if you want to increase the production of wheat, the production of rice will decrease because you have to remove resources from production of rice and then utilize for the production of wheat. Similarly, if you want to increase the production of rice will increase, but the production of wheat will decrease. So on this assumption, this PPC works. That's why it is assumed that resources are fully utilized. Technology is given and unchanged. Means during the analyzation period you won't change the technology, because if you changes the technology, what will happen? Without reducing production of one good, you can increase the production of one by making improvement in technology. That's why it is also assumed as constant. Technology is given. And the last assumption, fourth assumption, resources are not equally efficient in the production of two goods. This is one reason. Another reason why when we increase, why the production of one commodity decrease when we increase the production of other. Because this same piece of land, for example, may be suitable for the production of wheat, but it is not so suitable for the production of rice. because climatic conditions, soil nature, that may be different, requirement may be different. So that's why a resource is not equally efficient in all goods, in production of all goods. Now let us see the production possibility curve, PPC. These are, in the first column there are combinations of two goods are given which can be produced in this given resources. This line, this boundary indicates the resources, available resources. Combination A says that zero production of X1 commodity. This is your X1 commodity, and maximum production of X2 commodity. It means at this point production of X1 is 0 and all resources are being used in the production of X2. That is your combination A. If you move downward, what will happen? Suppose we want to increase the production of X1 by 1 extra unit every time. We increase, combination B indicates that we increased the production of X1 by 1 unit, the production of X2 falls to 90. That is your combination B. Production of X1 has been increased, but the production of X2 falls. On C combination, we increase another unit of X1. Again the production of X2 will fall. That is your C combination. Similarly at D, you will produce 3 units of X1 commodity and 40 units less unit of X2 commodity. And when you reach at the combination E, all resources they will be allotted to the production of X1. Means nothing left for the production of X2. That's why you can see maximum production of X1 commodity, but the production of X2 become 0. So this curve indicating various combinations. If we doesn't require X1, we will produce on A combination. If we do not want to produce X2, we will opt combination E. And if we want to produce both goods, then combination B, C, D, they are suitable. Now you have to make the choice whether you want to produce more of X2, then you will move upward. You will select B. On B combination, production of X2 is more than X1. Or if you want to produce more X1, you can select combination on lower portion of the PPC. So it means PPC provides us different choices which we can produce and in what quantity. So that is the direct answer of the central problem. Sorry, it provides the direct answer of the problem what to produce and in what quantity. Okay students, that is the definition of PPC. Now what are the features? The features of PPC, the first, negative slope or downward sloping, means it moves from left upward to the right downward, like that. The slope is negative. Why? Because in limited resources, when they are fully utilized, you can increase production of one commodity only by decreasing production of other commodity. So change in X1 will be positive and change in X2 will be negative. Simultaneously, together you cannot increase the production of both commodity according to the assumptions because resources are fully utilized. That's why PPC is downward sloping. Second feature, it is concave to the origin. Concave means it is bulging outside from origin. Means it have concave shape like that. This shape is known as straight line. This shape is known as convex. That is your convex curve. It is your concave. It is your straight line. According to assumptions, it is concave, though it may be convex and straight line. But whatever we have assumed regarding PPC, it will be concave. Some exceptions are also there where PPC may be straight line or may be convex. But now here let us see why it is concave to the origin, why it is bulging outside. This is the problem. A feature. It is concave to origin due to law of increasing marginal opportunity cost. Means MOC is the slope. Simply you can say that due to increasing slope. I will tell you in the later phase of this discussion what is slope, what is MOC. Just simply you have to understand that due to increasing MOC, you have to get a curve which is concave in shape. Because it happens, because all resources are not equally efficient. If you want to increase the production of X1 by 1 more unit, every time you have to give up more and more production of X2 commodity. That's why it is concave to the origin. Means the slope, a little bit hint I will give you here. In later phase of this topic, I will tell you what is MOC, how it is calculated, why it is increasing. Slope is perpendicular by base. In this curve, if we want to find out slope, that is X2, it is X1. And you are at point B. Suppose you are at point B. If you move from B to C, what will happen? Check it. That is minus delta X2. Minus delta X2 indicates fall in production of good 2. And it is X1, delta X1. And delta X1 is positive. That means the production is increasing. So according to this diagram, the slope is equal to BD by DC. DC is positive, BD is negative. So the slope will be negative. Why? And it is according to the given values, BD is equal to minus delta X2. And DC is equal to delta X1. So the slope is negative and slope is increasing. The rate of change or the direction of slope, that may be of three types. It may be constant, it may be increasing, it may be decreasing. That rate is known as slope or marginal opportunity cost. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Now, how PPC changes? Shift in PPC. PPC changes in two forms. Either it will shift or it will rotate. First, I will tell you in what circumstances PPC will shift rightward. Shifting will be of two types. First is rightward shifting. In what circumstances PPC will shift rightward? So students, PPC may shift rightward due to certain factors, due to certain reason, and out of them one is increase in resources. Means if availability of resources increases, then you will have more resources that will be indicated by rightward shifting of PPC. Okay, in what circumstances resources may increase? What are the examples? Like increase in supply of skilled labor, manpower increase हो जाए आपकी, skilled manpower ज़्यादा आ जाए. Okay, more engineers, more doctors, automatically skilled manpower, resources related to skilled manpower or labor, they will increase. Number of institutions of science and technology, they increased. So as a result, what will happen? The resource, यानी कि skilled manpower or your skilled manpower will increase. Discovery of new oil wells. Suppose we have 5 oil wells. That is our existing resources, and we discovered 2 new. So our resources will increase from 5 to 7. Okay. For example, that is example of discovery of new oil wells. Now, third example of increase in resources, increase in FDI, foreign direct investment. For example, recently government following a policy of come and make in India. We are inviting foreigners to set up their plants, to invest money in India and to produce here. So when foreign investment will come in India, our resources, monetary, financial resources will increase. So production will increase. That's why all these examples indicates increase in resources. Now, second reason is increase in production. If resources are same, there is no change in resources. They are at AB point, and you are producing 20 quintals of wheat and 10 quintal of rice in this given resources. Suppose you improve the technology of both, means technology of production of wheat and rice improved. What will happen? You may produce more in the same resources, like 30 quintal of wheat and 20 quintal of rice. Now this increase in production will be indicated by rightward shift, because we are getting more production which we can produce in the more resources, but we are producing in the same resource by improving technology. So increase in production is also indicating by rightward shifting. So these were the factors responsible for the rightward shift in PPC. Now the next is leftward shift. When your PPC shift leftward, in what circumstances it will shift leftward? Number one, decrease in resources. If your resources decrease, for example, due to natural calamities like earthquake, tsunami, flood, the resource will decrease. People will die, buildings will destroy, so resource will decrease in that circumstances. There are certain man-made causes also responsible for this leftward shift. Man-made causes means riots. Riots means जहाँ भी दंगे फसाद होते हैं, just the people, they harm the public property. They put buses on fire, they put building on fire. What is the result of such kind of activities? The result is decrease in resources. Brain drain, that is also decrease our resources. We got training in our country, we become skilled in our country, but we left country for better opportunities and provide services to the another country. This phenomena is known as brain drain. Due to this phenomena, our skilled manpower decreases. Decrease in FDI, foreign direct investment. If it decrease, it will decrease the monetary resources of economy. As a result, PPC will shift leftward. And thus, these were the example of decrease in resources. Now the second reason, decrease in production. Strike of labor at economic level, at large scale, that will reduce the production. If economy is using outdated technology, then your PPC will shift to the rightward. Now the next is movement along the curve. Second type of change is movement along the curve. In movement, we will study rotation. In rotation, only one side will change, other side will remain fixed. Like if you improve the technology of X2 commodity, this is your PPC. AB is your, X2 commodity, and you are producing X2 and X1 commodities, and AB is your PPC. Suppose you don't have sufficient resources, or you are unable to change the or improve the technology of both commodity. You only improve the technology of X2 for the production of X2. The result will be this. Means production of X2 will increase from A to A1, but the production of B will remain same. That is rotation. Similarly, you can do it with the X1. Let AB is your PPC. You are producing two goods, X2 and X1. If you improve the technology of production of good X1, production of X1 will increase from B to B1, but the production of X2 will remain same. That is your rotation. So these are the certain factors which are responsible for the shift in PPC. Next, opportunity cost. This is a very important concept for you. In this age group, we generally do not understand the things what's happening around us. If your parents, your teachers puts pressure on you for study, why? There is no activity in this world, in the life of human being, for which you don't pay. The mode of payment may be different. If you are purchasing any goods, you measure the cost in terms of money. If you are allotting more time in your study, there is cost. If you are playing game on mobile, you are paying. But this cost is not visible. But for every activity of human being, you have to pay something. There is a common saying, our parents generally frequently just tells us that कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. Means if you want to get something, you have to sacrifice something. Without giving up, you cannot get anything. In economics, that is known as opportunity cost. So let us see what is technically opportunity cost. As I told you at initial stage in my previous lecture, that resources are limited and they have alternative uses. Now you have to make the choice which is the best use, where you can use that resources properly. So the cost of using a resource in its next best alternative. Listen these lines carefully, students. Next best alternative means whatever you are losing, that is the cost of your gain. Simply you can say that whatever you have given up to get something, or whatever you have foregone, that is the opportunity cost of what you have got. It arises because resources are limited and they have alternative use. If any resource do not have any alternative use, their opportunity cost will not generate. For example, those who are using specs like me, there is only one use. There is no alternative use of this spec. So no opportunity cost will be generated. Only opportunity cost generated in those cases where resources have multiple uses. For example, you have any resources, X resources, and suppose that have choice 1 and choice 2. If you want to use that resource in choice 1, you have to forego choice 2. If you have to use the resource in choice 2, you have to forego choice 1. Let me tell you through an example. Suppose you have a piece of land used for the production of rice. The entire piece of land is being used for the production of rice, and you are getting output of rupees 2500. That is best utilization according to you. But somehow you come to know that if I use this piece of land in place of rice in production of wheat, I may get 4000. I may get output of 4,000 rupees. So you can understand 4,000 is much more than the 2,500. Then why you will produce rice? You will try to shift production from rice to wheat. And what will happen? You will stop the production of rice. You will remove resources from production of rice and reallocate it to the production of wheat. Only then it is possible when you can get rupees 4,000. You can see in the PPC. At point A, you are producing rice and you are getting 2,500. From wheat, you are getting zero output because all resources you have allotted to the production of rice. But as per updation of your knowledge, you shift your production from wheat to rice to wheat. What will happen? Entire resources will be shifted from production of rice to wheat, and the production of wheat will be maximum at B combination, and you will get 4,000. So what is your gain? 4,000 is your gain. Production of wheat is your gain, but to get it, you have to give up production of rice. So what is the value of wheat here? 4,000. And money value of rice 2,500, sorry. So the opportunity cost of wheat means opportunity cost of 4,000 will be equal to opportunity cost of rice, money value of rice, because you have foregone this. You have transformed resources. Transform means transferred resources from rice to wheat. Another example, you are working in firm A and you are getting salary 40,000 rupees. Firm B offer for the same work 60,000. So definitely you will shift from firm A to firm B. You want to join firm B, you want to earn more, but it will be only possible when you left or resigned from firm A. So to get 60,000, first you have to forego 40,000. मतलब 60,000 लेने के लिए आपको 40,000 छोड़ने पड़ेंगे. So the 40,000 will be opportunity cost of 60,000. It is a very practical and important concept. That's why I said every activity of human being, whether it is pleasure, whether it is hard work, they have cost. And you have to pay. Next students, now I will tell you marginal opportunity cost. When I was discussing about the feature of PPC, there was one feature that PPC is concave to the origin, bulging to the outside. And there I told you that increasing MOC is the reason. Now let us see what is marginal opportunity cost. It is the rate of loss. As I told you that if you increase the production of X1, you have to give up the production of X2. At what rate you are giving up production of X2? That is MOC. Means it is the rate of loss in production of Y commodity or X2 commodity. Why you reduce the production of X2? Because you are increasing production of X1. By increasing one extra unit of increasing production of X1 unit. It is the rate at which resources are transformed from production of one good to production of good 2. And this rate is known as slope. This rate is also known as slope of PPC. So come here on this schedule. When we are producing X1 0, means production of X1 is 0, production of X2 is maximum. As you increase production of X1 by one extra unit, production of X2 falls. Just have a look on the trend of falling production of X2. production of X2 is not falling at the same rate. First time it falls by 10 units, second time it falls by 20 units, then by 30 units, then by 40 units. Means every time production of X2 falls more and more for one extra unit of X2. So if you want to calculate marginal opportunity cost, you need to use this formula, minus loss, delta loss due to delta gain. And in our illustration, loss occurs in the production of X2 and gain occurs in production of X1. So at each point you can find out the value. How you can find out the value by applying this formula. At A point we are producing only X2. So there is no loss, no gain. In the production of X1, changes occurs by 1 unit. Every time you are increasing production of X1 by 1 extra unit. 1 minus 0, 1. 2 minus 1, 1. 3 minus 2, 1. 4 minus 1, minus 3, 1. So every time change in production of X1 is equal to 1 unit. But change in production which is falling in X2 is more and more. First time it falls by 10 units, second time it falls by 20 units, third time it falls by 30 units, and fourth time it falls by 40 units. So if you calculate MOC, you have to apply this formula, delta X2 by delta X1. Means 10 by 1 minus 10 MOC, you will get the value in negative, which indicates falls in the production of one commodity. Second, 20 by 1 minus 20, minus 30 by 1 minus 30, minus 40 by 1 minus 40. All these values are in negative. And this is the slope. At point B, the slope is 10. At point B, slope is 10. Point C, slope is 20. At point D, slope is 30. At point E, slope is 40. Means at each point, slope is increasing. For the slope, I have given you the formula minus delta x2 according to this example. Minus delta x2 by delta x1. And this is your MOC. So students, MOC increases because every time for the same unit, when we increase the production of X1 by the same unit, we have to give up. We have to forego more and more units of X2. Why it happens? Why it happens? Why we have to give up more and more every time? Because resources are not equally efficient. That's why we have to give up more and more. Means we have to transform more and more resources from X2 to X1. This is the reason PPC is concave. Now, some other situations which you can analyze with the help of PPC. Now see, if you initially the blue portion, blue area is your available resources. If you producing anything on any combination at this curve, that is known as Fuller utilization. If you are producing inside the PPC, here, suppose here, anywhere inside the PPC, like this given point, that is underutilization. Means you are not using your resources properly. This is also known as unemployment of resources. And if your curve shift rightward, that is known as increase in resources. If your curve shift rightward, that is known as increase in resources. And any combination outside this PPC, that is known as unattainable combination, because resources, they end here, they ends here. You have fully utilized resources at this line, and if you try to attain a combination which is beyond the resources, that is known as unattainable combination. So these are certain situations which you can represent through PPC. You can analyze what is the situation, whether resources are increasing or decreasing, whether output you are using resources efficiently or inefficiently. Efficiently means you have fuller utilization of resources. Inefficient means your resources are not fully utilized. There is unemployment, there is underutilization. For example, you have supply of labor equal to 100. There are 100 people in the economy and only 80 people are working. So 20 will be known as unemployed. That is unemployment, that is underutilization of resources. And if the situation is that supply of labor is 100 and all are working, that is known as fuller utilization. One more thing, there are 2 points. This is if the potential level of output, means you can produce maximum up to this AB curve, because it will indicate fuller utilization. And now actual fuller utilization indicates that your actual production is equal to potential. That will be known as fuller utilization. But actual may be equal to potential or less than potential. If actual is less than potential, you are producing here, actual is less than potential, that is the situation of underutilization. So in this way, this production possibility curve or PPC curve helps us to analyze different kinds of problem. What is the present scenario, whether our actual production is equal to potential production? Then we need to improve technology because our resources are fully utilized. But demand cannot be stable. So in order to match increasing demand, we have to think about either discovery of new resources or to improve technology. And if we are producing inside PPC, that means our actual production is less than potential. What potential means? What we can produce. So again we need to think how we can attain fuller utilization, what kind of methods, technology we have to use to attain fuller utilization or full employment of resources. So these were the different situations. Now some extra points about actual and potential I have told you. Now attainable and attainable. Let AB is your PPC. From this line to inside, all combinations are attainable. You can attain because you have resources. But any combination on the right side of this curve, you cannot attain because this is the limit of resources. That is your unattainable. So students, it was about the PPC and its different features, problems. Now, how PPC can help to solve different economic problems. So PPC directly helps in what to produce, to provide the solution of what to produce. Because those combinations which we have indicated in the table, those combination are the answer of what to produce and in what quantity. but directly does not provide any solution related to the for whom to produce and how to produce. Now, in previous lecture I have told you different economic system: market economy, centrally planned economy and mixed economy. And we discussed about these three problems: what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Now we will see how these different economic systems provide the solution of what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. First we will talk about the market economy, capitalistic economy represented by private sector. What to produce? It produces according to demand. Whereas planned economy, centrally planned economy or socialistic economy, it produces according to need. In the mixed economy, which is the combination of private plus public sector, private sector will produce according to the demand and public sector will produce according to the need. How to produce? For market economy, it doesn't any matter whether it is labor intensive or capital intensive. They just want to minimize their cost. Whereas in public sector, they want maximum output and employment in minimum cost. So the objective is different. Whereas in mixed economy, private sector will move according to the minimum cost, whereas public sector will move according to the maximum output and employment generation. Third problem, for whom to produce? Private sector will produce for the rich section and public sector will produce for the mass consumption. They may be poor, middle or rich. Mixed economy, all luxuries are produced by the private sector, like your car, AC, refrigerator, all comforts they are produces by private sector. Whereas all public goods are provided by the public sector. Luxuries are produced by private sector and all public goods like roads, bridge, dam, water supply, rationing, they are controlled. All key resources, they are controlled by the government. So students, these were the different solutions provided by the different economic system. And according to these solutions, we have to make the choice that which kind of economic system will be suitable for us. So it was about the production possibility curve, how it is used to analyze different economic problems and how different economic problems are solved under different economic system. If you have any problem, you can write in comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day, students.